In your ministry van.
Yes, I'm here for the people because I'm one of the people. And so I could speak to the hurts and the pains of the people because I've experienced the hurts and the pains. A lot of people do not understand us.
When I first met Vanessa, there was a spark, a light, a strength that immediately struck me. And I feel so honored to get to know you more over the past, few days. And
make me cry.
And yeah, over and over again. It's a sign of life. Yeah.
Yes, it is.
Yeah. So, I have to think about how to close this now.
Do you have any questions?
Do I have any questions? Do you feel like you'll stay on the road? Or do you want to have a Sticks and Bricks again?
Somebody, I be reading them comments, y'all, so y'all better be good. Somebody left a comment on Tiny Home Tours and said, somebody get this woman some money so she could buy a house. And I commented and I said, if I have some money, I ain't buying no house, I'm buying another van. So,
and why is that?
My goal is to buy another van that I could stand up in. I love van life. I like creating, and everything that embodies me as a person, I will be able to do it in van life. I have a ministry within me. My He Answers Prayers page. You guys are going to see me one day speaking at events, speaking at churches. I'm a motivational speaker. Having the van, a better, more reliable van, is going to allow me to be able to travel to the platforms that I want to travel to. And it's all by design of God, and people don't realize. I know what God has in store for me, and I know the goals that He have in store for my life. I know the people that He want to save and heal and deliver from hurt and pain, and only a person who has been there can speak to that. God has put that in me to speak to that, and that is my gift. That is my, what is the word? That's my commission. He's commissioned me to do that. I don't want these things for myself, but the last time I tried to off myself, He let me know what He wanted from me. And I let Him know, well, I don't want to, but if I wake up in the morning, I have no choice but to surrender. So I have surrendered. I don't live my life for myself anymore. I live my life for the calling that God has on it, and for the people that He want me to speak to, so they won't do what I had planned on doing, because He has a plan for me, and He has a plan for you the same way He had for me. God is of no respect of persons. What He can do for me, He can do for you if you allow Him to. And that's just, you gonna have to come to the point where you surrender. I surrendered, even though I didn't want to. I have a sense of humor, y'all. Me and God, we have an understanding, because I talk to Him the same way. I talk to Him just like this.
Matt, I wanted to ask you a little bit about the surrender. Would you say that when you surrendered over to God, that you were also choosing to live, or were you not choosing to live, but surrendering to God?
If I would choose, even today, I wouldn't be here. And I tell Him that all the time, because I would rather for Him to come back. I have a sister who died of stage 4 cancer, who's 8 years younger than me. I would have rather have taken her spot and let her still be here. So I don't have a choice, because I have a choice because I'm not trying to make that decision anymore, but I don't have a choice because I can't explain it. I don't have a choice in the matter, because I surrendered, and He's showing me the purpose of what my life is for. So when he shows me the purpose of what my life is for, and I see the people that I impact, I'm happy to be a martyr for them, because I was a ship without a sail. I was a daughter without a mother. I was a daughter without a father. I was a human being without people who loved me. And so I feel the pain for all of us. And it's not me, it's for us. I feel our pain, and I know how devastating that was to my life, not having anyone to be a glimmer of not having anyone to be a glimmer of hope for me. So I'm strength for myself, but I'm strength for others, and I'm that glimmer of hope that we often don't have. So I tell God all the time, to use me. And so I am, in a sense, volunteering to be used. But it gets tiring, because sometimes you just, like, sometimes people are ungrateful. Sometimes people will take all that they can get out of you, and then you feel like you have nothing. And I think that's why God uses my subscribers to shower me with so much love, because he knows that I'm giving a lot. And he's also giving me what I need to continue to do what he wants me to do. So everything that I need, God is always going to provide for me, because he knows I'm on a mission for him. And I don't need a lot. I always tell him that I don't need a lot. All I need is my basic needs to be met. And I make it off of so little on YouTube. People wouldn't even, they couldn't even imagine surviving off of that amount. But I make it, and God provides for me, and I never complain, because every need that I have is met.
Yeah, in lots of ways.
It is. So whatever else that I need, I know without a shadow of a doubt he's going to provide it. And he's going to show up and show out.
He's going to show up and show out.
He is. He always does.
Your faith has really grown, it sounds like.
I always had faith, but
is this different?
God began to, I had faith, but I think sometimes my faith was more in people than it was in him. And God, a lot of times, allowed people not to even assist me with stuff, so that so I could build my faith to know that he was so now, I seen another comment on Tiny Home Tours. Something is off with this lady, because she talks about God too much. Nobody talks about God that much. When you've been through what I've been through, I ain't talking about nobody else but him. Like, that's it, and that's all. Like, I can't help it if you got a problem with how much I talk about God. But, I mean, he has proven himself to me. And so because God has proven himself to me in so many situations, I know without a shadow of a doubt now that no matter what the situation is, I'm going to come through on the other side, shining like pure gold, because that is his goal and his objective for my life. He is using me to encourage and motivate other people. So how could he allow me to fail? He's not going to.
Yeah, I really feel that. As you say, I feel the power of that. As you
He's not going to allow me to fail, no matter who wants me to. He's in control. So that's where I'm at. I'm just abiding in him, and he's healing me, and helping others. And he's using my situation to encourage them to have faith for their situation. So it's like a cycle of one person. How many people can one person influence? And I'm just using my platform to encourage people, which is less profitable, to encourage people to put their trust and their hope in God, because that's what you're going to need in these trying times. Like, you have to build your faith and your relationship with God, because if not, you're going to give up. Like, if you are putting your trust in man, whether it be man, woman, mother, father, sister, brother, if you're putting your trust in man, you're going to be let down. You're going to be disappointed. So you have to put your trust in God and don't rely on man, and know that God uses man. He uses everybody that God uses in my life to sow seeds in my life. He uses man. I thank those people for allowing God to use them, but I give credit to God for using them and sending my blessings my way. So he gets all the praise and all the glory. And I'm just a humble servant. I can't get the big head. You know, people often say, Vanessa, you're amazing and you're great. And I joke around and say, I know. And I'm really accepting that, because how could I not be great again when the greatest love of all is pouring this greatness into me? Like, I'm great only because of him, but in and of myself, I'm nothing and I'm nobody. So when I joke, I know I'm great. I know I'm creative. I know I'm talented. Those are things he put into me as a little girl. Those are things that saved my life as a little girl. And it's like I don't know what analogy, because I'm always using analogies, but I'm just making up this analogy. But it's like a little chicken that was born, and when it's like the little ugly duckling. Like, everybody laughed at the little ugly duckling because it was just an ugly little thing. And then that little ugly duckling grew up to be, what? Did he grow up to be a swan? He did. I don't know. He did.
Yeah, a swan. Yeah, he did.
I mean, I don't even remember the story. But it's like, you were something that nobody expected you to be, but God had it in you all the time. He knew what you were going to grow up to be. So God already knew from the beginning all the things that I had to go through, all the things I had to endure. He already knew all the people that were going to hurt me. He already knew all the trials and the tribulations. He already knew I was going to try to off myself 3 times. He already knew I wasn't going to be successful. He already knew I was going to get tired and walk away from my property. He already knew that I was going to voluntarily repo my car. He already knew that people was going to break into my building. He already knew everything. And he already knew that at the end of all of this, whatever it is that I'm supposed to be, he already knew that. So I just have to accept it. Like at some point, do you think the ugly duckling had to accept that he was ugly? And then once he accepted that he was ugly, God allowed him to see that you were ugly during this transition, so you wouldn't be proud. You wouldn't get a spirit of pride. If I would have let you be born beautiful from the beginning, maybe you wouldn't have never recognized me. And so I thank God for all my trials and my tribulations, because it has created an humble spirit. It has created appreciativeness. It has created, I don't have a spirit of pride. And God himself has told me the reason why he uses me is because I'm humble. Some people he can't use because they are too prideful. They care about their looks. They care about vanity. And the message that God wants to get across to people doesn't reach people because they are trying to portray something about themselves. I don't portray nothing. I'm coming on here If y'all, I got a bald head. I'm blind in my eye. I have a goiter. Listen, I'm me. But if you are looking for a presentation of something, you're going to miss the message. You're going to miss the blessing. You're going to miss the healing, because you got to get down to the nitty gritty to get all that stuff. You got to get down to being homeless and you already there. You already homeless. You already done lost everything. You already don't have no hope, girl. How low can you go? You can't go no further. So it's only up from here. And that's what you got to realize. You know, sometimes God break our spirit and he break our will so that we will rely and depend on him and know that when we do get to where we're going, it was only through him that we got there. And now we're going to serve him the rest of our days. I can't go back. I can't go back to my regular life. I can't go back to my disobedient life. I can't go back to choosing men over God. I can't ever go back to that. And I'm never going back to that. It's my choice and my desire to stay single and celibate for the rest of my life. God isn't choosing that for me. He gives me the desires of my heart. If I wanted a husband, if I wanted a man, all I would do was ask him for it and he would give it to me. I don't want it.
You are called, and this is your ministry vehicle. This is your
I'd rather be helping people than being in a relationship. I'd rather be encouraging and motivating others. That's fulfilling to me. So I don't need what I thought I used to need. And that's another thing. God will, when you let God show you who he is to you, a lot of things that you think you could never live without, he will show you that those things weren't even important anyway. Relationships were so important to me. I was a relationship type person. I was a good woman, still am a good woman, but now I've learned that the dependency and the codependency that I had on relationships and men in my life, to where I even wanted to end my life because relationships had ended. I don't have that codependency on another individual on the face of this earth anymore. And now God fixed me so good I don't even need it or desire it. So I'm not saying all of y'all should want that, but that's just because I know the ministry that's in me. It's no need for a relationship.
You have a relationship with yourself and with God,
and that's all I need.
And
it's enough.
It's enough. Yeah. It sounds like it's more than enough. It sounds abundant. The Bible say he will bless you till your cup overflows. So my relationship with him overflows into other people's cup to fill it up. Which you do so beautifully.
I do.
Yes, you do.
It's not me, y'all, but
you do.
She does.
She does. And with the cooking and the spirit and the joy and the also just I really feel your strength around boundaries and around living in integrity, and
I had to learn those things
the hard way.
They didn't come naturally.
No. And when I'm in your van, now that you've described this feeling that you have of wanting to travel and with your ministry, I have a whole nother level. It's like I've been my respect for your van and what you've created here has been up leveled, right? Because this is beautiful, and it really reflects the calling and the spirit that's in you.
Thank you. You're such a sweet person.
Oh,
thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Thank you for being here. And
have y'all ever seen her speechless before? Now she's supposed to be the interviewer, and she just...
My heart is so full, and I am very moved. I am a delayed crier, so there will be tears later. This is, Vanessa is a very profound person, and I know that you've shared a lot on your YouTube channel. You've shared a lot on other channels. I hope that there has been something here that is maybe new, fresh.
I've shared this on my channel in stories individually, each situation, and I have more to share. because a lot of people are just needing the healing and they're needing the encouragement. And so eventually I'm going to write a book. Eventually I'm going to produce my own movie. That you have not seen the last of me, and that's by God's design, not mine. And
is this the first time you've shared it more at length?
With somebody interviewing me, but not on my channel. I had multiple YouTube channels years ago. I came to social media through the He Answers Prayers page and making videos talking about my sexual assault as a child and all the things, and I deleted those channels. So I am getting ready to, I have 2 YouTube channels that I primarily make videos on, Vanessa's Van Life Journey, and I have another channel called Nomadic Therapy, and I go live over there every day when internet allows. But I also share videos over there, and I'm going to be doing my story times over there on Nomadic Therapy about my trauma as a child. Like I say, I was blinded in my left eye when I was 12 years old. I'm a burn victim survivor. A lot of people don't know that I'm a burn victim survivor. I have 3rd-degree burns on my body. And the devil was trying to claim my life at the age of 3 or 4. So I was in a fire when I was 3 or 4 years old. I have been through so much trauma in my life to where I just didn't want to be here anymore to suffer. But I'm here. Nobody has a gun to my head to make me be here. I'm here, and I'm just living my life, and I'm not bothering anybody, and I'm just doing my own thing. And hopefully my channel and my stories are compelling and hopefully they help somebody through what they're going through. And I know they do, because people tell me that all the time. So I'm just being who God called me to be, and let the chips fall where they may every day. Like nothing happens by coincidence, in my opinion. Even me meeting you, even us talking and sharing and having this this interview today, it's not by coincidence. So whatever God wants to come out of it, that's what's going to come out. I hope for 1 million views on your channel.
Well, you know, this, I haven't told you this, but meeting you and being able to talk so personally about this is an answer to one of my prayers as well, because there is a video on my channel, on Blue Underlady channel, that, you know, is growing in views right now. It has over 150,000. It's about Chris traveling solo in her Nissan. She was facing homelessness, the prospect of it, and it really struck a lot of viewers, and people have been commenting about their own challenges and fears and questions, and they're so inspired by her. And so I have been, you know, asking for guidance, divine guidance, about what to do with this, because this is struck a nerve, and I was asking for guidance in how to reach viewers with some more inspiration, someone you the viewers could get some inspiration from. And then I met you the first day here. So I really feel that you're an answer to a prayer that was put out there as well.
He answers prayers.
Yes, absolutely. Yes.
Yeah. So that's a good thing. And God put in my path who could, you know, take the story and do, it's easy to do a van tour. It's easy to do a little short impromptu video, but it's so much more that people need to know.
I'm so glad to hear you say that, because, you know, van tours, I consumed van tours like candy for years, because I was desperate to get out. And I also was facing deep depression and struggling with the choice. And the van, I knew that I needed to be in the van. And I feel I've encountered so many people out here, I know you have as well, that a lot of women, a lot of men who are dealing with depression, dealing with suicidality, dealing with abuse at home, burned out caregivers. I mean, they're so strong and brave to be out here and grabbing hold of their lives.
They're fighting.
They're fighting.
Yep.
So that it's time. It feels like it's time for that to be addressed, because we're all out here.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's real. Yeah, and I think we get a lot of strength from each other's stories.
That's true.
So,
We all helping each other. Even your story of survival and your story of struggles are helping somebody. Maybe at the moment you don't feel like, I didn't feel like when I was typing my stories on Facebook or my prayers to God on Facebook, I wasn't trying to help anyone else.
Yeah.
I was just pouring out my soul to God. But God also used the people that was commenting on my prayer page. He was also using them to let me know that I was of value, and that I was not just speaking for myself, I was speaking for them. So God has always used this process to let me know that it wasn't just about me. And so me choosing life after death, because I truly believe that God resurrected me from the dead the last time I tried what I tried. I was talking to somebody the other day, I don't know who it was, but I should have been dead and sleeping in my grave. I never even went to the doctor after what I tried the last time. My stomach never was pumped or nothing. God did everything. And
you're meant to be here.
He's shown me through all of this trial and tribulation that me not being selfish, because I could be selfish and I could say, I don't want to help anybody else, forget them, I'm just trying to help me. But he's teaching me that by me not being selfish, I am allowing myself to be used. I don't want to use the word savior, but you are saving other people's lives by choosing to let God use you. And so I'm here for y'all. It's a lot.
In your ministry van.
Yes, I'm here for the people because I'm one of the people. And so I could speak to the hurts and the pains of the people because I've experienced the hurts and the pains. A lot of people do not understand us. Like, I've had family members who have told me that I wasn't a Christian because I tried to take my life. You're not a Christian and you don't know God. And if you did, you would have never tried to do that. And I was like, so Christians don't feel tired? Christians don't feel, I'm a Christian and I love God. Maybe Christianity haven't taught me to have a proper relationship with him where I can trust him properly, where I won't feel that way. So maybe there's something lacking in Christianity and not with me and my relationship with him, because once I start seeking him on my own and developing a personal relationship with him, now I don't have those issues anymore. So maybe the church has failed people like me, and I discovered that they have. I discovered on my own that they have failed people like us, because how many people go to church every Sunday, sit up in the pulpits, and how many people hear the pastor preaching and then they still come home empty, and they still come home without, they're still not equipped with the word to help them to be delivered.
Do you feel like being out here, leaving your church, leaving your neighborhood, leaving your family, leaving all of that, and coming out here has given you more of a chance to feel into what's true for you?
Well, that happened before.
It happened before.
Van Life. That happened when I was living in the building. That transition began to happen there. And just the desire of everything that God was putting in me began to happen there at that building. Excuse me, but it took me going through all of that to be who I am today. So for me, homelessness was a choice because I walked away from everything, but it was a necessity because I didn't walk away from everything thinking I was choosing life. I was walking away from everything thinking I was going in the other direction. But God took you being able to walk away from everything and saying, okay, you walked away from everything, and now you don't have anything else that is obstructing your view from me. So now I'm going to use this opportunity to show you who I am, because now I have your attention.
I feel that.
And so he got my attention through me thinking I was in control. And I wasn't in control, and I still was at his mercy. And so I just sat there and I didn't want anything, and God just started making me want something. He started giving me things to pull me out. And that's another story out on my channel, but God started giving me things to pull me out of my seclusion and the bed that I was going to be found in, because I wasn't going to get up. And he started giving me things, and he gave me couponing. I became a couponer. I became a extreme couponer to where I would go to the stores and I would get money back.
Oh my goodness.
And I had a whole YouTube channel on my extreme couponing.
You turned the system on its head.
And I was one of those extreme coupons that you would see on TLC. And I would go to the store. I would go to Walmart all night long with my coupons, and I would leave with $0 in my pocket, and I would come back with $500. And God used that to say, see, you could take care of yourself. See, you could provide for yourself. And then after I started doing that, then I had food. And then I had name brand food. And then I had money to get the things that I needed. And then he was like, he used that to drive me, because I put myself into everything I do. And I'm good at whatever I do. And then I was like, I became the best couponer in Texas. And then I had all these people watching my YouTube channel and getting tons of views off of couponing. And then I deleted it. We talked about that. I deleted it all, but God used couponing to feed me, because I didn't have. And that's a whole. If you want some more stories, girl, we're gonna have to come back.
We're gonna run out of we're gonna run out of memory on my phone.
we gonna have to y'all let her know if y'all want to do another interview with me about the couponing and how God used the couponing to get me out of my deathbed.
Well, that's intriguing. I think we will definitely have to come back or go to your channel for that. Yeah, absolutely.
We might have to put that over there. How many times have we did this closing?
Well, that's what editing's for.
Well, this is about the fifth.
It is. Well, each time we close, it leads to something else, and then I get another, feeling about it, and okay, so wow. It's a challenge to be sitting here with you with all this depth and profound conversation and think, how can I keep connecting it back to van life? How can I keep connecting it back to van life? Is that going to sound hokey? Is that going to sound strange and forced? But
you just let it do what it do.
And for me, van life is that profound, because van life is a big part of what saved my life. And I know that it's saving other people's lives as well.
The saving for me came before van life. Here we go again. The saving for me came before van life, but van life was always a destiny.
To watch A Master Plan, Van Life Destiny, the 4th chapter in this in-depth interview with Vanessa, click the link below.